Hello, Thunder Wizards. Okay, so I don't know who's going to show up today, but we are going to talk more about the Thunder Wheel. The default term that people like to use is the medicine wheel. And so I use that so that people who aren't familiar with what I teach have a basic understanding of what we're talking about. But what we are talking about, I call the Thunder Wheel. So let's talk about what is the Thunder Wheel. So we've got this picture here, which is, you can see that's a 9-pointed circle, very similar to the Ayeshomer. It's a circle and it's got nine branches to it. So we could also call this the world tree. The world tree in many cultures, including the Siberian as well as the European, the world tree has 9 branches on it. In the European version, there are 9 worlds associated with the 9 branches of the world tree. You may not know this, but in Siberian and Mongolian shamanism, a shaman, when he is being initiated, what will happen is that he will go into trance, and then one of the things that happens as he is being initiated is in trance, he will then climb up his body will climb up a physical tree. And so people have to be ready for him with a sheet or something, because as he climbs up, he will climb up 9 branches and then he will fall off. He'll fall off the tree into the sheet, and now he is a shaman, which is very interesting because that is what Odin experienced on the world tree, where he hung himself on the world tree and he spent 9 days and 9 nights, and then screaming, he fell from the tree, reaching for the runes, which are the secrets, the mysteries of the universe. So we talked last time about the 9 worlds and the 9 dimensions and the different entities that can be found on these 9 branches of the world tree. And today what I want to share with you is, I want to try and stay in the picture. Today what I want to share with you is how we can use these 9 levels, these 9 directions, to access the 9 levels of our mind. So just to preface that, to get you to understand the power of the different levels of the mind, I'm going to share with you some things that have been happening with me. So as you know, or may not know, if you're new to the channel, maybe you don't know, but perhaps you do know that I have completely walked away from my almost my entire life as I've known it. I got rid of everything so that everything that I owned could fit into a couple of suitcases and a surfboard bag, and I took off, and I'm now here in Australia for I don't know how long. I'm on a tourist visa, and the way things are set up is that Americans have a pretty good deal. They can stay here they can get a year visa, and throughout that year they can come and go as many times as they want, as long as they only stay for 3 months at a time. So I'm going to stay here for a couple of stints of 3 months, and then I'm going to go to New Zealand for the summer. So that's it's corresponding with something that's happening in my astrological chart, which is extremely powerful. And so the thing that's going on in my astrological chart is what's called the Nodal Return. The North Node and the South Node are responsible for what brings you into incarnation and what takes you out of incarnation. And so every 18 years, what happens is that the nodes will realign to to the same positions they were in when you were born. And what happens is you get this karmic reboot where your identity will be completely shifted. You know, when you're 18 years old, this is the first time that you have it, what happens? You become an adult. You go off to college. You leave your home, ideally. And you leave your parents and you go off and you be an adult. And then when you're 36, you're supposed to be into the depth of creating your life. You know, traditionally speaking, a man would be in the place where he would really be investing in creating his business, making a name for himself in the world. And the feminine, I'm talking generally speaking here, so don't anybody get in a tizzy. Generally speaking, the feminine would be in the midst of raising children, so she would no longer be a young, virgin. She would now be a mother with children. And that would be that big shift. And she'd be moving towards, at 36, she'd be moving towards the end of that period and looking forward to, another period in her life. And then the next one, the third time around, you're around 55 years old, which is, it's not exact, but right around that time. And so this is when my nodal return hit at 55. So I've walked away from everything. And the most interesting thing has been happening. A lot of physiological changes have been happening. Part of that, I believe, is because I'm here in the southern hemisphere. And if you ever take a look at the magnetic field on the Earth, what happens is that energy is being pulled into the southern pole of the magnet, basically the bar magnet, going through the Earth. You've got all this energy that's pulling in, so you're going deep into the root. Whereas in the northern pole, you have energy coming out. And so I've definitely felt a huge shift energetically for me. I mean, I sleep all the time, not all the time. I'm sleeping a lot. I'm still exercising, but my downtime, I am down. And I've been going through a lot of emotional restructuring. And what's been happening in my dreams is that in my dreams, I am going to my the home that I grew up in, and all kinds of crazy things are happening where it's very clear that my mind is deconstructing and destroying all of those old psychological patterns from my childhood and my parents and even my previous careers, and wiping the slate clean. And so as I'm waking up in the mornings, I'm waking up from these really intense dreams, and I'm cataloging in my mind what it represents. I'm not going to get into that. I don't want to bore you with my own psychology, but this is one of the most powerful things that we can do, is to have access to the different regions of our mind. I've been delving into my unconscious. My unconscious, literally, it's not so much that I'm delving into it, is that it's restructuring itself, and sort of I'm becoming aware of how I have been programmed and how I've been functioning and what has been driving me, how I've been holding myself back. And anyway, like this last night, this morning, I woke up, I had such an intense experience throughout the night. So I wanted to talk to you about the 9 levels of existence. And this is one of the things that we do in Vedic astrology as I practice it. What I do is, let's see, which one am I looking for here? If you go up here to astrology.thunderwizard.com, you can get a reading from either me or from one of my certified apprentices. And what we do is we give you, among many other things, we will give you a mantra, which is designed specifically based on your chart. when you were born, the exact time you were born, and where you were born, and all that kind of stuff plays into exactly what parts of your mind and what energies want to work to align your three minds, your conscious, your unconscious, and your subconscious, in such a way that you will make it through your life with the least amount of issues. So if you're interested in that, go to astrology.thunderwizard.com. I have been working with my unconscious mind since I've been down here. So let's talk about the 9 levels of the mind. And for that, we're going to look again at the thunder wheel. So let's start in the northeast. The northeast is, if we're looking at a 2-dimensional representation. If we were looking at a 3-dimensional representation, we would see that the northeast was the highest point. So as it's going clockwise, around this wheel here, the energy is going up and it's going down and it's coming somewhere in the middle. And so it's kind of like a roller coaster. There's actually 2 wheels on top of each other. I won't get into that. But the first world we want to look at is in the northeast there, which would be your top right-hand corner. And the northeast is the highest realm. This is the highest magnetic frequency that we experience. And this is the realm of the celestial deities. And this is found in multiple traditions. This is found in the European tradition. We call it Osgard or Asgard, which means the fortress of the celestial gods. It's called, other things in different cultures. In the Vedic tradition, this is the realm of Sadashiva, the highest realm of Shiva, which is also, where he dwells on the top of the mountains in the Himalayas. So that very high level, high ether energy. If you ever go to the mountains, especially if you go to mountains that are granite mountains, any mountains will work, but granite mountains are, in my experience, the most powerful, because these are mountains that used to be the guts of volcanoes. And what happens is as that lava that's sitting there underneath those volcanoes, it takes over thousands, tens of thousands of years, and finally solidifies. That's when you get gems. But you get a lot of crystals and gems and quartz, and this is very high level energy. That's why people always wear quartz. If in doubt, just get some quartz, because quartz will bring that high level energy of ether to you. And so this is the realm of dealing with the super conscious mind. And the super conscious mind is when you deal with the celestial deities, what you experience is this brighter than bright purity of the gods. And this is why we worship them. This is also the default position for an altar. And the reason why we do that is because the danger of this level of thinking, when you're in this high level, very high vibrational level, the purity of it, if you are not completely conscious, what ends up happening is that out of your fear, out of your insecurity, you become dualistic in your thinking. And you start thinking of righteous versus evil, gods versus the devil. And this is where we have, this is why, when it comes to religion, we have the people who are the most intolerant are the people who deal with this kind of energy, whether it be modern neo-heathens who become racially exclusive, and they become politically very, they get skewed over to the right so far that they're anti-immigrant, and they, all that kind of stuff, and downright racist. You get the same thing with born-again Christians, Muslims. It doesn't really matter what the religion is. When you get so connected to that, and you're not completely on your highest level of awareness, then you start to see things from the perspective of exclusion and sin and punishment. And this is where religious wars are started. That's the reason why you put the altar there. You put the altar there so that when you connect to the highest level of spiritual energy, that you don't go off of your own unconscious fears. The idea is you're having your unconscious mind being put underneath the power of the celestial deities. And if you look directly opposite that, if you go from northeast to southwest, southwest is the underworld, where you have souls that have not accomplished all that they want. That's where all of your fears are, all of your unconscious anger, resentment, insecurities, all that stuff. So what ends up happening is that if you don't have that that lid, which is the Asgard, if you don't have that lid on your unconscious mind, then that's where the demons come out. So that's why you put the altar there. The altar there is to keep you from going overboard and then, it's like stepping on the teeter-totter and opening up the door for the unconscious, for all the devils to come out. This is one of the demon doors, one of the ghost doors, and that's why. So this is the realm in the northeast where you deal with your highest hopes, your dreams, your fantasies, your zeal, and you use it constructively. This is what this direction is for. If we go clockwise, because energy does move in a clockwise fashion, we end up in the east. The east is the realm of the ego. Now, as I said, when you get up to the northeast, that's the highest level, and you go directly from the highest level to the mid-level. And across that plane there, from east to west, you have the middle level. So it goes from way up to down to the middle. And this is in the east where you're dealing with the conscious mind. You're dealing with the ego. And I don't mean ego in a bad way. If you're not familiar with the ego, look at my videos on the Isa room. And you'll see that there's no such thing as having too much ego. You either have ego or you don't. If you don't have ego, you will be on one or two extremes, which is you will be completely narcissistic and full of yourself, or you will be a doormat and a victim. And as you notice, no matter which one you are, they always do one of the same. So we'll start with the victims. So let's say somebody thinks they are a victim. I used to deal with this all the time when I was a psychic reader. I'd get people who were telling me that they were being psychically... Oh, I have to stop because it looks like we've got an issue with the internet. Let's see if it clears itself up. I'll keep talking under the assumption that it might clear itself up. Okay, so it did clear itself up there. All right, so the east is the realm of the ego, and as I said, you don't... People use ego, the word, including myself, we use the word ego not accurately, because you either have ego or you don't. If you have ego, you are comfortable within yourself. If you have a sense of identity, you are comfortable with yourself. You don't need to lord it over others. You're not competitive with others. You don't need to push people down in order to raise yourself up. You don't have to dive down and worship other people in order to be accepted. You are comfortable within yourself and you're comfortable with other people on whatever level they are. That is ego. And this is what the East is. The danger of the East is we see with the realm of the giants, and that the giants get so wrapped up in their own narcissism that they have no empathy for anything or anybody else. And so this is the lesson here. So here, when we deal in the East, we deal with our conscious experience of ourself, our conscious identity. We continue to move clockwise, we end up in the southeast. This is the realm of the subconscious mind. So just to review, the northeast is the superconscious. The east is the conscious identity. The southeast is the subconscious. The subconscious mind is not the unconscious. If you're not familiar with my channel, or if you're new to my channel, it is very likely that you are misinterpreting when I use the word subconscious. 99.99% of the time when somebody uses the word subconscious, they are actually trying to mean the unconscious. The unconscious means you are not conscious. The subconscious, on the other hand, is different. The subconscious is just below the level of conscious awareness, just below, but it is still accessible to the conscious mind. When you are trying to buy something online and they ask for your address, your phone number, your date of birth, your social security number, your parents, your mother's maiden name, that is not something you're thinking about. You don't spend any time thinking about that, but when you need it, you just simply reach into your subconscious mind and you pull it out. It's always there. It's always there, it's always available, but it's not something you consciously think about, but you have conscious access to it. On the shamanic level, the subconscious mind is the part of the mind that we use to intend our reality. We intend our reality through our subconscious mind when we are in meditation, intending what we want. That is our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like a lens. And here's what people don't understand, especially in the New Age circles, when they talk about using the subconscious mind to intend your reality. They have an assumption that all you have to do is just consciously think of something, and that'll sort of like a slide slip in front of the projector of your subconscious mind, and it'll be projected into your reality. And that is not accurate. That would only be accurate if you had nothing, zero, going on in the unconscious mind. When you have nothing going on in the unconscious mind, whatever slide you put in front of your subconscious mirror will be projected into your reality. But unless you are a completely enlightened individual, which no human is, otherwise you would not have a meat bag holding you down. If you are a human being, you have unconscious things going on all the time, which will override any conscious affirmations or any conscious intentions. So you can sit on the edge of your bed and you can intend yourself to be a millionaire or to have whatever it is you want to have. But if those intentions that you're trying to put in front of the lens of your subconscious mind, if those intentions are opposite from what's going on in the unconscious, where you're not aware, then you will have mixed results or no results whatsoever. So we talk about that a lot. If you're interested in that, you can go back onto the channel and search. By the way, if you're new to the channel, here's one of the things that drives me crazy: when people don't know how to search within a YouTube channel. Because people will ask me, I'm trying to find your video on such and such and I can't find it anywhere. Well, if you are on a desktop, then all you do is you go to the page, the channel page in question, and right next to the name of the channel page there will be a little magnifying glass. You click on that, another search bar will come up. Not the search bar at the top, that's for all of YouTube, but the one next to the name of the channel will come up if you click on the little magnifying glass, and then you can put whatever search words you want. So learn how to do that. Different devices are different. Figure out how to do that. And you can go onto my channel and search for the unconscious mind and the subconscious mind and intentions and the law of attraction and all that. And you'll find me rambling on and on about how the law of attraction not only has it wrong, but is actually debilitating you. I won't get into it, but the idea that your thoughts and your feelings, whatever they are, attract everything to you, and that's how everything works, is actually debilitating you, and it is very destructive to your ability to create your life. I won't go into that here. But this is the subconscious realm in the southeast. So, just for review, the northeast is the superconscious, the east is the conscious identity, the southeast is the subconscious mind. Then we come again to the south. We're going clockwise because energy moves in a clockwise fashion. And the magnetic energy comes to the south. The south is where we deal with, this is also going to be more on the conscious level of your mind. So remember that the northeast is the highest, the east is right there in the middle, the subconscious is just below. It's not the furthest down, but it's just below the median level, which is where the east and the west are. And then we get to the south and we go up again. Now we don't go so far up that we're up towards the superconscious mind, but we're back into the realm of conscious awareness. And this is the physical body, and what ends up coming here is what you physically need to do, the actions that you need to take. Whenever we do a 9-world rune reading, the south will tell you the actions that the universe is telling you to take in order to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish. So the south is the fire element, and the fire element is, this is burning through the ego. As the ego has reached fullness, it starts to get too full of itself, and then it has an excess. And then we have to bring the fire in. We need to burn off the excess. And so this comes through action. So this is the act of the warrior. The act of the warrior is to go out and destroy negativity. Negativity is nothing more than excess. When you have excess that's clogging things up, you need to burn through it. You need to purify it. The word purify comes from the word fire, pur, to make fire. Purify literally means to make fire. So you purify through fire. You purify through your actions. This is why warriors are people of action. What do we do about it? Let's go do something. This is the south. Southwest, let's go again clockwise, and we move to the southwest. The southwest is the lowest. So the southeast is the highest, then we go to the middle, then we go just below, and we go back up just a tiny bit above medium, and then we go all the way down to the bottom, and that is the southwest. Southwest is the unconscious mind. Again, most of the time, anybody who uses the word subconscious, it drives me crazy. They really are trying to say unconscious, but the problem is they don't even know what the unconscious is. They don't know the difference between the subconscious and the unconscious. So anybody that you hear on YouTube, except me, and perhaps maybe some psychologists, anybody who's throwing around the word subconscious and accessing the subconscious, and in the subconscious mind, I can guarantee you that they don't even know what they mean when they're saying it. They are vaguely trying to talk about the unconscious, but they don't even know what that is. The unconscious is the part of your mind, the 99% of your mind that you are completely unaware of. You cannot choose to make yourself conscious. You can do spiritual work. This is the whole point of meditation, of yoga, of qigong, of ritual, of rune work. The whole point of all of that is so that you can become conscious of the things in your unconscious mind that are driving you. This is the main benefit of mantra. People want to know what mantra is for. Mantra. Mantra means man, mind, and tra, vehicle. Mantra is the vehicle of the mind. It's like a magic carpet. And the idea of mantra is that the sequence of sounds, and if you're singing it, the pitch, the changing of the pitch of the sounds creates a program, a vibrational program that will burrow into your unconscious, and it will start to loosen up imagine like your unconscious patterns are sort of like frozen in place, and they're just like these big globs of frozen, things that are getting in the way of your unconscious mind from being able to function at its best, which is where all your power is in your unconscious mind. Mantra goes in there and sort of like, breaks it up with all its vibrations, and then stuff starts to rise to the surface. This is why in meditation, you are told to just observe. Now, this is especially true with mantra meditation. Mantra meditation, you may go through a lot of challenging feelings, and a lot of people can't handle it. True mantra, really powerful mantra, when they get one, they maybe halfway through will give up because they can't. I know, because I've done it. I've been there. They'll get sick. Their life will come apart. One time for me, my whole back just went out on me. Back is unconscious issues. So this is the whole point of mantra, to get in there and unlock all of the things in your unconscious mind. The unconscious mind, ideally, you want the superconscious in the northeast, the realm of the highest divinity. You want that to act as a cover over your unconscious. You don't want to release that. So when people do, black magic and they're trying to summon the demon of such and such, what they're really doing is they're just going and it's sort of like just climbing inside of a porta potty and just sort of stomping around in your own poop. That's really all you're doing in there. This is, by the way, what happens the majority of the time people take hallucinogens. They're just going inside their own toilet and just walking around in their poop. You have this experience, you may have all kinds of things, you think you saw God, you think it's really just all the garbage in your own unconscious. But here's the thing, the unconscious mind is so vast. It is the most powerful thing. It will feel as though you are in infinity. And this is why, as it so happens, the Abrahamic religions, Jehovah cannot tolerate any worship of any other god other than himself, because he represents the unconscious narcissistic ego. And this is why when people, without proper training or understanding, when they do things like, take hallucinogens when they don't know what they're doing, they end up having this experience where they think they saw God. Let me give you another example. How many people do you know or have known who smoke a lot of THC and have all kinds of spiritual experiences, but they're in debt and they're physically unhealthy and they can't seem to get a job? But they can sit around all day and smoke pot and talk about the universe, man. That's what happens when you just get lost in your unconscious mind. You think you're having a spiritual experience, but really nothing is going on. Nothing is being accomplished. This is why for me, I have shamanic experiences all the time. I take shamanic journeys all the time. This is what I use celestial qigong for, to have shamanic experiences. But whatever experience I have, even if I've seen whatever and I've spoken to whatever, or whatever it is that I've experienced that I'm sure is real, I always make sure to line it up with real life, with conscious existence. Because whenever you have a shamanic experience, if you do, you will be given a message or an understanding that then you must be able to share with the rest of the world. And the only way you know that is if you do research to find out if what you've been told is real. And so this is why research is so important, and why fact checking and reality checking is so important. Because, if I have a shamanic experience and I can't back it up with real world experience or knowledge, I will, at the very least, I'll put it in a folder in my head and I'll say I'll come back to this later. Until I can see that this is something that is a fact that I wouldn't have known otherwise, I'm just going to assume it's my unconscious experience of things. All right, so it looks like I need to sort of make a little speech, as I always do. So we do have 21 people. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. This is a question and answer. So what I want to read people's questions and answer them. If you are simply typing in your opinion, yeah, life is this and that, you're sort of taking up space, and I have to scroll past you to find the questions. So I welcome you to ask any question that you would like. Just simply write the word question, preferably in all caps so I can see it, and then in lowercase write your question intelligently. Actually write a sentence or a phrase that makes sense, and I will be happy to answer your question. Otherwise, you're sort of taking up space, and potentially I may miss your question, and I may miss somebody else's question. So I'd like you to just keep it to questions, please. All right, so I'm just going to power all the way through here. So we're now talking about the West. So as I said, each of the 9 points on the thunder wheel, have besides having its own magnetic frequency, there's also, if we were to put it in a three-dimensional map, there'd be a big up and down. If you were to ride it like a roller coaster starting in the north, you would go up and then down and then up, so it all goes up and down. So the furthest down is the southwest, and then we go to the west, which then we're back in the middle. We're back in the conscious mind. So the west is how you relate to other people. This is the conscious mind again, and we've got the conscious mind runs through the east, the middle, which is the 9th realm, which is actually the realm of humans, actually Middle Earth, the realm of our three-dimensional reality. And then running through that to the west is how you relate to others. So the east is your personal identity. The west is your relationships with others. So in the west here, this is the realm of your conscious mind where you deal with your empathy. And if the east and the west, when you look at them together, like if you take a 9-world rune reading, you look at those 2 runes in the east and the west, and that'll give you an idea of what your psychological boundaries are doing. If there are problems in the east, it means that you don't have a clear idea of your own identity. If you have problems in the west, it means that your boundaries with other people are not clear. Either you are climbing into other people's business, or you are letting people walk all over you and steal your energy. So when you have this center line from east to west, when you have that balanced, then your boundaries with yourself and with others are intact. And this is one of the most important places to take a look at. And so in the West, we're dealing with how you relate to others. And the West is the gods of the West are the gods of Earth, which are known as the Vanir, which are the gods of fertility, the gods of magic, the gods of space and time. They are the elder gods because they live in space and time, as opposed to the Asgard, the Os, the celestial deities in Asgard, who live in timeless purity. The Vanir in the West live in time. They are the elder gods because they live in time and space, and because they get their wisdom through experience. So you can have spiritual purity, but that doesn't mean you're wise. We see this a lot, especially when somebody finds some kind of spirituality for the first time. They become just intolerable to live with because they want to convert you to their religion. So they're still very immature. They're experiencing maybe some really high level energy, but they're not mature. It is through experience. This is why, gray hair is supposed to represent wisdom, because it means that you've experienced life. Now, that's not true with just because somebody's got gray hair and been around for a while doesn't necessarily mean they have any wisdom. But that's why that white hair is supposed to represent that. So, from the west, we go to the last point on the 8 sides, and we go up again. We're not as high as Asgard. Asgard is the highest point, but we go up again to what we would call the higher self. So if Asgard is the super conscious mind, just the highest realm of spiritual purity, then we have the higher self, which is a direct result of the experience that comes through living, which is why it's the last place on the thunder wheel before you get back to square one, which is going to be the north, which we'll talk about in a moment. So in the northwest, this is high level energy as well, but this is the realm of the ascended masters. This is going to be this part of your mind. You have a crown chakra here, you have a third eye here. These are connected. Your crown chakra here, by the way, there's an antenna that goes from here to here. You know, whenever you see pictures of halos and you think it's like this halo like this, it's actually not. It's like this. It sits over from ear to ear. You know, that's why, Muslims and, Jewish people wear these yarmulkes. They're actually, and it's right on this part of the head. They don't realize it, but that comes from an ancient understanding that there is an antenna right here. It goes from ear to ear, and it sort of, sits on the back of the head like that. And this is the antenna. It can be wider than that, bigger than that. This is the antenna that you receive information from the ascended masters. And this is where your higher self resides. Your higher self is not you. Your higher self is actually, it has fused with you. You are made up of three selves. You're made up of your conscious self, your soul, which exists in your heart here. You have a lower self. I'm touching my navel center, where your subconscious and your unconscious mind are, and they are more of an animalistic self, which is not you. And then you have your higher self, which is also not you. But while you're in the body, these three selves have fused into one personality. The central point is your soul, which is the one experiencing everything and making most of the decisions. But the higher self is sort of like, you've got in airports, they have those air traffic controllers. Now, the air traffic controllers cannot control the planes, but they are monitoring to see what's going on, and then they will send you a message, hey, flight X1Z blah, 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 on your right 29er75, whatever the hell they do. You've got an incoming, switch to, 27-9er7, whatever. They tell you how to alter your course so that you can have a smooth flight. This is when you get intuition from your higher self. Now, your higher self can't make you do anything. But if you listen to it, then you adjust, you're not going to have any problems. Most of us, there's at least some point in our lives when we knew we were supposed to do something else, and out of our own ego or our greed or our narcissism or our fear, we did something we knew wasn't what we were supposed to do, and we ended up in big trouble. So that's where this is, the higher self. There's this antenna right here. That is your higher self. And your higher self has direct access to the true ancestral masters, which are, in my ethnic tradition, would be the elves, the shining ones, the bodhisattvas in the Buddhist tradition. And then we have the north, and the north represents the almost as low. And then we go way back down again. So you're going around in this circle. You're going up and then down and up and down and up and down. So here you've come almost all the way up again, and then you go almost all the way down. And here you have the north, and this is the realm of the water. And this is the realm of the void. Now, this isn't the true void. The true void is beyond anything in this 9-world system. It's beyond that. But the closest we get to the true void is the north, the realm of the waters. And this is why in the Norse tradition, the waters of the north are poisonous. Poison isn't really the right word. It's that if you were to go to that dimension, if you were to try and physically go to the dimension of the north, the realm of the primordial waters, you would be torn to pieces. Because that's the closest you get to the void. The void is pure potential. Pure potential, there's nothing solid. Because once you solidify something, you've limited it. So it's pure, unlimited potential. It's the most powerful thing. It's like, nuclear weapons. It's the most powerful thing there is. The north is like that. If you were to physically go to the realm of the waters of the north, you would come apart. You'd be torn apart. This is why Odin, his place is in the north, because he represents the highest intellect, not the highest mind. That's the northwest. The highest intellect. The highest intellect is putting things into order. He has the ability to put things in order while walking around in the void. And he's the only one that's able to do that, and that's why he is the protector of the north. And this is, we could get into a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, we will. So the last world is in the center here, which is Middle Earth, and this is another Earth realm. The true Earth realm is the southwest. That's the deepest Earth. But in terms of Earth, like the surface of the Earth, we have Middle Earth there. And that you can see all of the other 8 directions, all of the other 8 minds. You have 9 minds. All of the other 8 minds are coming together and converging in the middle. So the middle is actually the true locus of your conscious experience. So the Middle Earth is your conscious experience of everything else coming to you. This is why you should seek to empower your conscious mind. People want to escape their conscious existence, and unfortunately what happens most of the time is that you think you're going to all these other realms and you're really just going to your unconscious mind, and you're getting lost in your narcissism. In order to be able to go to the other realms, you have to be able to tolerate conscious awareness. So if you're running from conscious awareness because of pain, because of sadness, because of fear, that means that you're actually not doing a whole hell of a lot of shamanic work. To be a true shaman is to be in the center, in conscious awareness, and have continuous connection to all of the other 8 realms. That is the true shamanic mindset. And so this is why when I hear people talking about, I astral traveled, man, and I went to I roll my eyes, because for the most part I don't think that's really what was going on. And that's why we spend so much time reality checking. That is why I'm so ruthless with you, because if I think you're trapped in some kind of mindset that is harmful for your spiritual evolution, because I'm a warrior, I come at you, and I come at you ruthlessly, and I won't let you put up with it. And that's one of the reasons I lose clients and subscribers, is because I'm not here to give you the cotton candy. Because living in the center, living in conscious awareness, is only a place for warriors. And human beings, by the way, if you are a human being, it means that the universe has decided that you have enough of this warrior spirit that you deserve to be here. This is a real privilege to live in conscious awareness. All right, so having said that, now we'll get rid of this, and I'll take any questions if you have them. If you're before we go any further, please subscribe, hit the bell button so you'll be notified whenever I upload or do any live videos. Go to neo.thunderwizard.com. Before I get into anything, I have to say I'm mystified. You come onto my channel, many of you tell me how much you can't wait for me to come on live so you can ask me a question. I'm telling you the 4 most important things you need to get the most out of my teaching and get the most out of my life is here at neo.thunderwizard.com. Courses.thunderwizard.com, that is the link that has everything, my books, my DVDs, my video teachings, my services, the astrology, the rune readings, the everything. And then of course thunderwizard.com is where you can learn shamanism from the ground up. So go to those links, they're there for a reason. All right, let's see what we got here in terms of questions. So, again, please, guys, if you're new to the channel, I'm just interested in your questions, not in your thoughts or I know you have brilliant thoughts on your own, but I'd like to keep it here for questions only. So, I'm not seeing anything here now. A lot of people giving their opinions, which I'm really not interested in reading. Black Earth Productions question. Does the nature of the axis mundi, Irminsul, with Rahu Ketu assist in mastering the consciousness of the elements? Can you speak about this to the nature of fire and water in context? So, by the way, before I go any further, Black Earth Productions, he has his own YouTube channel, very powerful teacher in his own right. He has his own website as well, blackearthproductions.com. So go check him out. So the nature of the axis mundi. So It depends on what we mean when we say the axis mundi. I talked earlier about the magnetic poles, the poles of the Earth, the north and the south, which, the magnetism of the Earth, the lower or Antarctica, the South Pole pulls energy in, and then it comes up through the center and it comes out the top of the North Pole. So that means, now having experienced it a little more, that there's going to be a very different mindset depending on which hemisphere you're in. My experience of the southern hemisphere is that it's incredibly grounding. I mean, I'm really connecting to Earth energy and Shakti and Mother Earth and all of that. Whereas the northern hemisphere is a lot more intellectually stimulating, which is why the fire people, which would be the people of Northern Europe, they are the ones who invented all the technology that's running the world today. It's because they live in the northern hemisphere, which is stimulating the intellect. Whereas if you're in the southern hemisphere, this is going to stimulate energetically the root chakra and earth, which is why we have, the way things are spiritually. And generally speaking, again, I'm generalizing, so don't get anybody get a bug up their rear end. So that axis mundi, what does that have to do with Rahu and Ketu? It sounds like you have an understanding that I'm not. Sometimes I'm able to tap into your understanding. I don't know if I am right now. But in terms of the elements, fire and water, it depends if we're talking about like the cosmic fire and the cosmic water, which at the beginning of the universe, you had the void. And from the void, you had a drop of water come out and create the waters. You had a spark of fire come out and create the fire. And then the fire and the water came together. A drop and a spark of each came together, and boom, and that created the physical universe. So what that has to do with the axis mundi, I'm not making the connection there. So I'm sorry, my friend. I think that there's something that you wanted to say that I'm not picking up on for whatever reason. So Matthew Vides, please write the word question so I know you're asking a question. He says, is it normal to go through phases of discontent and chaos when going through spiritual evolution? Yes. In fact, it's not only normal, it is unavoidable. This is one of the things that I teach. This is one of the reasons why there are people that have difficulty following my teaching. Listen, I just did a video called Using the Power of Death to Manifest Your Dreams. And somebody had mentioned something about, death is a human construct. Now, I don't know that person, but I know from that comment that that person is frightened, that that person is in denial, that that person is running from things in their unconscious mind that is frightening them. I'm not judging that because I understand that. That's part of human nature. But, there is no spiritual practice on the planet that has an unbroken connection into prehistory. I'll say that again. There is no spiritual practice on the planet that has an unbroken connection into prehistory that does not stress the importance of facing death. Modern times, even with the so-called revealed religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, these have this shift of the dualism between light and dark and good and bad. And death is bad and life is good, which is why the whole point is to get eternal life and to be saved and have eternal life. These are religions of denial, afraid of death. And in order to really have true wisdom, you have to be able to look death in the face and gain wisdom from it. So whenever somebody says that, I already know, you might as well just go on to some other channel that's just going to give you the love and light. or worse, go to the Christians who are just going to tell you, Jesus will save you and everything's beautiful. It's all the same crap. Everything is love and light, and I'm not going to go there, and I don't have those negative vibrations. And these are people who are in denial of their own negative feelings, their fear, their anger, their resentment. You have to be able to look those things in the face. This is where much of the power resides. So, is it normal to go through phases of discontent? It's not only normal, but it's normal to go through depression, to go through sadness, to go through anger. It's mandatory. You have to go through it. This is the sign of our modern times. We are so insecure and immature, that we can't tolerate our negative feelings or other people's negative feelings. This is, like on the whole dating sites, one of the main things you'll see is, I don't do drama. No drama here, please. If you're going to bring drama, take it somewhere else. But that just tells me that these are people who are full of drama and they can't tolerate it. So your job is to come in and not stimulate them to have all of their own negative feelings. They're the worst people to date. People who say, I don't want any drama. What, you don't have the strength to go through challenges? You don't have the strength to talk through things with your partner? You're not there, you're not able to be there when your partner's having a bad day? You're not able to tell them when something they've done is harmful to you? You can't handle drama. You shouldn't be in a relationship, because relationships are going to have drama. There's no way around it. So yes, it's normal. 23 Mebga question. Is there a ritual to connect each direction? Yes. I don't know you. You must be new to the channel. But I already know you have not gone to courses.thunderwizard.com, have you? Because if you went to courses.thunderwizard.com, you would have clicked on the link that would take you to all of my videos on Amazon that have multiple rituals. There's one called Thunder Shamanism. There's a book also called Thunder Shamanism. Even my first book, so that tells me you haven't read any of my books. My first book, I talk about the 8 directions and rituals that you can do to connect to the energies of the 9 worlds and the 8 directions. And there is a DVD called The Spell of the 9 Knots, which connects all of the 9 points of the body to the 9 directions. So I already know that you haven't even looked at that. Now, that might not be your fault. You might be brand new to the channel, but now you know. There are so many. Go get off your rear end and start clicking, because that's where you're going to find the answers to those questions. Or like I said earlier, even if you don't want to do that, I swear, guys, it's so frustrating to me when people complain. So frustrating, because all you would have to do is learn how to search within my channel. On a desktop, you click on the little magnifying glass next to thunderwizard.com, Thunderwizard, DOTCOM. You click on that magnifying glass and up will come a search bar. Type in ritual, type in 9 directions, type in medicine wheel, thunder wheel. Type in those things. I've got stuff on the free channel about all that. Put some effort into learning what I teach. Okay, sorry for the speech, but to answer your question, yes, there are more than I can count. But you have to do the work to find them. I've made them available. You just got to go get them. All right, I don't see any more questions here. We're going to do one thing, which is I'm going to talk to you about life force energy, which is number 2 on neo.thunderwizard.com. And then I'll come back. If there are any more questions, I'll answer them. If not, I will call it an afternoon, go wash some clothes, and go eat. All right, so be back in a couple of minutes. Hi, I'm Michael Denny of SpiritTao.com. And this is Celestial Negong Part 1. Celestial Negong means that this is power that is descending from heaven. And the idea is that we are all microcosms of the entire universe. You are the entire universe, and everything around you is simply the projection. You are looking within yourself. So when you look up into the stars at night, you're actually looking deep within your own body. When you look at the sun, the moon, the trees, the flowers, you're looking within yourself. This is Negong. And so what we're doing is we're simply releasing that infinity from within us. You are tapping into and releasing the power that is within our own body, our own cells, our own organs. So one of the reasons that I'm making this DVD is in the hope that the essence and the spirit of the teaching of the Shang Qing arts can be taught to the world at large, and it is my hope that the core essence of what the Shang Qing tradition is will continue to live and grow and evolve. As we move on into the Aquarian age, everything is changing. I don't need to tell you that. The entire world is changing, and what we are seeing now is that if people hold on to external things, they are very challenged in life. And those who are making the transition into the next phase that we are moving into in the world as we approach 2012, those who look within and find their source of strength from within, those are the people who are getting the most out of life and will make the transition into the next phase of evolution most comfortably. It is my belief that the Shang Qing tradition is one method whereby human beings can evolve into the next level of being in the most comfortable fashion and be able to take advantage of the rapid, energetic, mental, and spiritual changes that are going on in the world today. All right, I'm back. Okay, I'll see if there are any more questions. All right, let me take a look here. It doesn't look like there is. Nope, I don't see any more questions. So, I'm going to leave you with this bit of advice, which is take advantage of me. That's right, you heard me right. Take advantage of me. My last video that I did the Manifestation Mastery Course video 23, and I make 2 videos. Every time I put a video up for the Manifestation Mastery Course, I put up 2 videos. I put up a video for the YouTube channel, and then I have an extended version video, second half that I put up on the thunderwizard.com page. And so I'll lay out the teaching in the first one, and I get you ready for a shamanic exercise. And then I reveal the shamanic exercise. I go into a little more deeper questions, and then I reveal the shamanic exercise. But that is a subscription. And to be part of the Manifestation Mastery Course, you subscribe. And when you subscribe, you not only get access to all of the specific shamanic exercises of the Manifestation Mastery Course, you also get access to all of the, I think, hundreds of hours of teaching in the Advanced Shamanism course, where I teach you from A to Z everything you need to know about what shamanism is, ritual, energy work, mantra, meditation, invocation, all that stuff. Working with the 9 elements, the 5 elements, the 9 directions, all of the different entities. So I put up one of these videos, and I did what I always do. In the beginning, I say, watch this video to the end, because then I'm going to direct you to where you can get the blah, blah, blah. And I'm doing that for a reason. I'm doing that so that people will be stimulated to go to the subscription site, learn about it, and if they want to learn more, they can subscribe or not. But it amazes me. I had this one guy come on, left a message about it, and he was disappointed because he felt that I had deceived him. And he was passive aggressive and kind of said something to the point of he was very disappointed in me or whatever. Now, this isn't new. And, you know, what I wanted to say to the guy was, look, you can be disappointed if you want. That just tells me where you're at. And unfortunately for this guy, this isn't necessarily, I mean, he is responsible, but it's not necessarily his fault, because we live in this society of disempowered children. Even if you're 50 years old, there are these disempowered children who don't have the wherewithal within them to see what's right in front of them. Because he said, I wanted to learn about death, and which is great. I wanted to learn shamanic something about death. But he didn't bother. All he did was he looked for the one thing that motivated him to go, oh, you see, I can't trust this guy. He's whatever. And, you know, I'm just disappointed, and I'm just going to go. And I'm going to leave this passive-aggressive comment about how I'm disappointed. Instead of saying to himself, well, okay, yeah, he's got this subscription thing, and okay, I don't want to pay for that yet, but I'm going to go back onto his website, and I'm going to search the over 500 free videos he's got on there with all of the meditations and all of the mantras that I give out for free and all of the shamanic exercises. I even give a free shamanic certification course on this free channel. He could have said, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of the free stuff. I don't know this guy yet, but it doesn't cost me anything. I'm going to go figure him out. And then somebody later wrote and said, yeah, I just got on the channel and I'm still deciding, you know, about your character. Now, he ended up taking that off for whatever reason, I don't know. But it's like, you guys, who gives a crap about my character if you have hundreds of hours of free teaching that you can take advantage of? You don't want to buy anything that's on these links? Okay. Stop complaining. Take the free stuff and use it. It just amazes me. This is a shamanic truth. You create your reality based on, this is where Law of Attraction has it right. If you're focusing on how they're all doing it to me, and by the way, first off, how is it that you're going to worry about somebody's character when you're watching free videos on YouTube? Worry about their character if you're paying to learn from them, or if you're learning from them in person, then learn about their character. But if they're giving you free stuff, who the hell cares? Take it and use it. Listen, all of my teachers except for one, all of my teachers betrayed me except for one. And the teacher who taught me the most powerful energetic practices, the spirit fighting practices, this guy ended up betraying me big time. And this guy had some serious character flaws. Now, I knew that. After having trained with him for a while, I learned that he had boundary issues, he had his own faults, and he had some things you had to watch out for with him. And he had done some things that had hurt me, you know, pretty deeply. But what ended up happening was this. When I got to this place where I had learned, you know, all of the secret techniques that he had taught me, when he would, with his character defects coming at me, and I'm paying to learn from this guy, I would stop and I would ask myself, okay, yes, he's doing his thing, but does he still have something that I want? Is there something I can learn from him that I can't get anywhere else? And as long as the answer was yes, he has knowledge that I need, that I can't get anywhere else, then I'm going to take responsibility for myself, protect myself, and just be aware of this guy, and I'm going to get as much from him as I can, and when I'm done, I'm going to walk away. Now, he ended up cutting off things with me, but it was the same thing. It was the same thing. So it's just like, I see that. I see these. You're on YouTube watching videos and you're worried about somebody's character? Take the free stuff. Learn from them. Apply it in your life. You know, just binge watch my channel and do the things that I teach. Get up off your ass and research what I've got on there and do it. Who gives a crap about my character? You can worry about my character when you want to train with me one-on-one. Then you can do whatever you want to do to figure out if I'm trustworthy. Other than that, what do you care if it's free? Even the paid stuff, what do you care? I'm giving you, I swear to you, I'm giving you some stuff in the paid stuff and in the free stuff that I'm not supposed to be teaching. But I believe the world deserves it. Stuff that cost me thousands of dollars to learn. Pull up your nutsack, be a man, and go get what you want. Or if you're a girl, haunch up your sports bra and be a woman, you know, and go get what you want. Stop complaining about what you don't have. Take advantage of me and my channel and get what you want. And then go master your life. All right, I'm done. I just had to get that out off my chest. All right, I do see some questions seem to be popping up here. So I answered 23 Meb question. You haven't searched my channel enough, and you haven't read my books, and you haven't exhausted all of those resources yet. I appreciate the question, but the answer is yes. Get up off your ass and do some research. Okay, I see some question. Wolf of Odin question, how are you today? Hi. I can't say that's not a question. Okay, so Matthew Viday's question. What can you tell me about your perspective of addiction? I don't know what you want to know. That's a huge subject. I don't know. You have to be more specific than that. So he goes on to say, I have been struggling with opioids for 7 to 8 years. So you're struggling, so you're addicted. If you're struggling, then you're addicted. You're struggling with opioids? I don't know what that means. Are you struggling with Vicodin, with Percocet, with opium? I don't know. So let's cut the bullshit. You're addicted. See, here's the thing about opiates. Opioids, opiates, whatever. There's different kinds of addiction, like alcohol has its own addiction, and somebody who is physically predisposed to that addiction, alcohol is like an opiate. They cannot physically separate themselves from it, or they become really sick and they have to go into a hospital program to detox. THC, you can be addicted to THC, and you'll go through some weird stuff. You know, you will go through some physical symptoms and you know, some detox from that, but it's not the same. There's as much a mental and emotional addiction as there is physical. But opiates, once you get addicted to opiates, your body shifts. You can't quit on your own. You have to go get some help. So Matthew, wake the fuck up. Stop bullshitting yourself and get your ass to a treatment program, because you're not going to be able to wean yourself off. You've been struggling for 7 to 8 years. So you're telling me 8 years of your life you have given away your... Because here's the thing about not just addiction in general, but especially opiates. Opiates suppress pain, right? They also suppress everything else. They suppress your consciousness. They suppress your immune system. They suppress all of the organs. Everything shuts down. So emotionally, at best, emotionally, you have been trapped for 8 years. You have not emotionally evolved for at least 7 to 8 years. I'm just telling you the truth. There's no moralizing. I don't have any, listen, if I could take opiates on a moment by moment basis, they feel good, I would do it. I have no moral thing about it. But get yourself off your ass. If you want your life back, you're going to have to go to a treatment program, and you're going to have to detox, and you're probably going to have to go to some kind of 12-step drug treatment program. That's my perspective. Okay, out of the blue, that's not a question. Out of the blue, all right, so how I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. There you go. How's that for an answer? All right, I don't see any more questions. I have stuff I got to do, so I'm going to go do them. Again, neo.thunderwizard.com. It amazes the crap out of me. You guys can't wait to see a live video, but I know people aren't doing that. I don't know why. But these are things that I have done that have gotten me where I am. If you want what I have, you got to do what I do. And I don't know how else if I could magically give you to you, I could, but I don't. You got to do the work. neo.thunderwizard.com. You need those 4 things. Go check them out. If you want to see my books, my videos, my DVDs, my services, the astrology, the rune readings, the certifications, the astrology certification, the rune certifications, the all the other stuff that I offer, go to courses.thunderwizard.com. Okay? If you want to learn shamanism from the ground up, if you want to have access to hundreds of hours of videos where I go into depth, specifically teaching you how to do that, and even at the bottom level, $25 a month. Seriously, there's nobody that's going to tell me they can't afford that. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. So, anyway, you have no excuses. All those things are available to you, and if you really want to support this channel, if you think what I'm doing is good, then subscribe. The easiest thing you can do is go and subscribe at the lowest level, and that will allow me to continue to do this. And of course, subscribe and hit the bell button. All right, so I think that's it for me, unless there's no more questions. All right, my friends, that's it. I talk to you guys later. Happy Saturday to you. For me, it's a Sunday. Happy Saturday to you. I'll see you guys soon.